after a big Sunday, and why not do it after a big Thursday night NFL kickoff?
Consider it, Rich, a special edition of
Things that make you go,
Let's go, baby!
Things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
Now, like Rich said, we usually do this on Mondays, but we're starting early because we're so darn excited about football. Your takeaways, anything you observed, even if it's obvious. So your observations from the first game of the season, Lions over the Chiefs. No one really saw that coming. In retrospect, we should have.
I mean, in retrospect, what are you talking about?
Underestimated the Lions, and they played tough, dude. They're better than we thought.
I mean, hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Slow down.
Hold up.
This wasn't a, oh my God, Houston Texans beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. This was a 4-point spread. This wasn't even a touchdown. So while we expected the Chiefs to find a way to win because they were home, they were missing Chris Jones, which looked a little more valuable than,
Another great takeaway, yes.
He's probably saying, yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's probably torn.
He wishes they would have won on a field goal, 23-21.
Right. I don't think he wanted his team to lose, but it does show his value and his importance.
But Travis Kelce, you could see the frustration with the towel on his head because he's like, I want to be out there. This is the most obvious of observations. That offense runs off of Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Mahomes, but it runs off of that being his first option and first look.
I mean, let's make it clear. I think they did the right thing sitting him out. Why rush it? Why push it? I think Dan Beyer said yesterday, like a week and a half rest?
Yeah, why
rush him? It's the first week.
I believe you said, didn't you call Andy Reid and you said, take it easy?
I was like, Andy Reid, take it easy with this guy. No need to force it. It's the first week of the season. Don't push it. You're going to need him down the run. And huge impact not having him on the team.
My observation, honestly, I think it's the
field.
It's the thing that made you go the most. Make you go, And that's that the Chiefs should have won the game. I don't care how good the Lions are. And I know we got Lions fans here at Fox Sports Radio. Joel, who runs a board in the morning, our buddy Profet, who I see rolling. I think he came into work today just to be like, hey, what's up, Lions?
Rub it in your face.
Yeah.
He wore his Honolulu blue just to rub it in.
Hey, he's wearing his Honolulu blue Speedo.
I mean, not in the Spot's face because he actually picked the game.
Spot picked him.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs should have won that game, no doubt. I'm not taking anything away from Dan Campbell and the Lions. They are good. You know what? They showed up. They won on the road, a game that on their schedule.
It sounds like you are a little bit, though.
Very well.
Sounds like you're taking a little bit away.
No. All right, well, sometimes, COVINO, ready? Let's play it this way.
They made the plays they needed to make to win that game.
No. Sometimes you win because you won, and sometimes you win because the other team didn't finish.
I mean, the Lions dropped the ball.
Stop it.
All right.
Patrick Mahomes threw a perfect pass that went through a receiver's hands, tipped, pick six. That's a touchdown that shouldn't have happened. On the final drive, Tony dropped the ball on the 30.
2 big passes.
That would have, and that whole drive, other receivers, everyone was dropping the ball. They had Butterfingers with the Chiefs receivers, again, just highlighting the absence of Travis Kelce.
In fact, we have audio from Patrick Mahomes. Oh, man, come on.
Good one, COVINO.
Wow. Slow motion audio from Patrick Mahomes.
Turn that audio clip down.
Yeah. Yeah, Ramos, that came in a little hot.
Yeah.
Came in a little hot.
It's my fault.
But he was frustrated, dude. When you see Mahomes.
He should have been. He had magical moments where he was scrambling around doing his typical Mahomes stuff. You're trying to tell me Danny G, Ramos, Spotty, who picked the game closer than anyone, probably didn't even watch a game.
It's not true.
Maybe it is.
But when you saw him visibly frustrated. You know what I mean? It's like perfect passes.
I mean, Spot, the pick six that tied the game at 14 was a ball that was a perfectly timed slant that would have been a first down, turns into a bobble, pick six. Now the game's tied. In the fourth quarter.
By the way, how does Tony not get in his head having such a bad first game like that? He sort of caught the yips. I'd be a little nervous if I were him moving forward. He cannot mess up like that again.
That final drive.
Yeah.
That final drive, when they stopped the Lions on 4th and 2, I bet you the live betting was all in favor of Mahomes got to go, 30 yards? Butker, game-winning field goal? That was what everyone was thinking. You were thinking that, right, Dan?
The Chiefs fans were booing him. They don't boo their own players very often.
And the Lions fans showed up.
Yeah.
Again, these are the takeaways, guys. So chime in, feel free, whatever you observed. 877-99 on Fox, and of course on social media at Covino and Rich. Our special edition of Things That Make You Go, made you go. We do it on Mondays during the football season, but we're doing it tonight because, man, everyone was tuned in to see the defending champs.
And, Covino, I'm only going to harp on it one more time. A lot of times you could say, well, there's drop passes, there's penalties. It was a pretty clean game for the most part. Not a lot of penalties. In fact, the Chiefs received the one big pass interference penalty, so they benefited from that. It was interference. But when you really do look at that game, you could say the pick six should never have happened. And on the last drive, forget the Tony wide open. The next two passes, even on the 4th and 20, that was a catchable ball. It baffles me. And again, it does sound like I'm taking away from what the Lions did.
It absolutely does. And, the Lions almost picked one at the end again. Lions, Goff played well. You haven't said that at all.
My first
you
note, my first note was...
But dude, we're 14 minutes into the show. You haven't even said that.
My first note was Goff looks like he loves that over-the-middle 15, 20-yard slants. Like, it's, Detroit's good. They're going to be a solid
if you're
team.
listening to Rich, the Chiefs lost. The Lions didn't win. And that's fine. That's a fair assessment. But I thought the Lions played pretty tough.
No Chris Jones. They lack pressure.
Aiden Hutchinson reminds me of Max Crosby. That motor, from the snap to the play is over, he is all over that quarterback. And that Lions defense, they got some heat last season. That was the one part of the Lions team where they faltered here and there. But they came out to play last night.
I agree. I heard Colin say this, actually. He said, the Lions, man, they're scrappy, they're tough, they're imperfect, but man, do they care, or something like that. Like, you could tell they really care about the game. They might not be perfect, they might not be the best, but they're there to play.
I mean, Danny, you said Max Crosby like. I was thinking maybe more like Nick Bosa like.
Yeah, more like Max Crosby.
So, you know what? You did see, though, a cool layer last night. Have you ever seen the parents mic'd up before? Because I thought that was cool.
No, the mom looked confused half the time, though.
Ever heard the dad's like...
She had Covino COVID eyes.
Yeah.
She kept asking the dad, what happened? What happened?
Honey, it was a fake punt. Oh, that's terrific. Like, it was cool, though. You know what? My wife and I... Danny, you got kids. Covino, you got a daughter.
Yeah.
When you have kids, Ramos, super dad in the sports world. When you see the parents living the dream with their kids.
Oh, it's incredible.
Like knowing that they were dropping the kids off to Pop Warner football, probably going to baseball, basketball, because these kids played every sport. They didn't just play football. And you see them in the crowd, seeing the result of all the work they did as a parent.
It's rewarding. It's beautiful.
I get a little emotional, to be honest.
Of course. On a side note, and we're going to get to your phone calls and feedback now, but I sent Rich a video yesterday. It was a story of Steve Young's kids. And Steve Young said, my boys didn't play football, and that's fine. I love them. Doesn't matter. My girls, however, were the first of my kids to say, hey, Dad, can you teach us how to throw, how to catch? And he's now coaching his two daughters on their high school flag football league.
And they're like, my dad's super competitive, but I'm more competitive, but I love spending the time with my dad. Covino, I call Covino, I go, dude, you trying to make me cry, bro?
One of his daughters is a quarterback.
Yeah.
One of his daughters is a receiver.
Number 8, she's the one that, she's the one of the two that is rocking her dad's number.
And it was this really nice story about how proud Steve Young is of his daughters and how they love, their dad's support. And Rich was like, what are you doing, man? Is it lame that you're making me cry? The whole parents watching their kids' dream come true like that, there's nothing better in sports. When you see a big leaguer get called up and their parents and their family are there and he goes yard and they're all freaking out, it's a great moment. That's part of the reason we watch, man.
And
the human element.
Again, to back you up, and you said Colin said it, everyone's saying it, the Lions just play with a lot of heart. And
they care.
What I do love about it is Dan Campbell. I loved his halftime interview where he was just ready to roll. He's like, oh, yeah, and on defense, I'll tell you that too, because I know you're going to ask. He knew the answers, and he gave real honest answers. He seems like such a cool coach to play for. You know how Robert Saleh, you got the vibe that he was a good motivator watching Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
You got that peek behind the scenes where it's like, yo, he's pretty badass.
You need that.
He also had a very, very gravelly voice. You could tell he was screaming that entire first half. I'd love to see Rich at one of his softball games, like in the third inning, be like, "Come on, girls!" Because his voice is so raspy because he's been screaming for like 3 innings.
Ramos, this Sunday, early morning, luckily before NFL kickoff, my first T-ball softball.
Also on Monday, you're going to come back all gravelly.
Yeah, I'm yelling at the girls. You know what? In fact, while we go to your phone calls, Ramos, can you play Dan Campbell after the game?
Now, let me ask you this. Did we expect to win that game? We did, and that's exactly what we did. Because we built that way, and everything we talked about was how it went down. We had to be patient, man. Offense, we go all the way down and score. Defense, we need a takeaway. We come out at halftime, we get a huge takeaway. I told you guys we're built for this. We can overcome anything as long as you guys just hang with it. We got a ton to clean up when we get back. But until then, enjoy this.
Oh, yeah!
Lions played tough.
Hey, do we expect to win this? Yeah!
And Goff looks solid, man. 253 yards, 1 tutty, no interceptions, more yards than Mahomes. That was the story last night. And on the flip side, the obvious, they dropped a lot of passes. So it's not it's not on Mahomes really at all.
It's not on the flip side. Well, it is, but
I'm just saying the flip side
Welcome
of the story
back.
Yeah.
There's,
Who drove over here? Quick, let me see your hands. Who took the bus?
Not as motivational.
That's the most motivational.
Not as motivational.
Not as motivational as Gannon on the cards.
No.
But hey, you know what? Again, let it be known. Lions, I respect you. You're going to be great this year. I do think they're a 10-plus win team. I think they're, I'm not saying they're based off of one game. We thought that. But that game should have been won by Kansas City. They're going to look back at that tape. Those drop passes, the pick six that shouldn't have happened. It's hard to look at one play and say, well, there's 4 quarters, you can make up for it. But we're talking about 2 monster plays, COVINO. A completion, it wasn't thrown behind him. It wasn't thrown high. It was a perfect pass that turned into a pick six and a ball that was perfectly thrown a little behind him, but at the 30, that would have they would have round out the clock. Butker would have tried to go for a game-winning field goal. The outcome should have been way different. And you know what the big difference? You said it, and I want to just give you a high five and say the Lions defense, last year they were ranked towards the very bottom of the league. Well, I'm not surprised by Jared Goff because, Danny, you remember last year, that was a top 5 offense.
We got to be a little surprised. And I'm telling you, I hate to call ourselves out, but that's why
last year.
We had a specific conversation yesterday. Who will be the Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks of last year? Who will be the big surprise? Nobody said the Lions.
Because it's not a surprise, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't think it's a surprise
Not
at
the way
all?
they ended the season, no.
Kind of surprising to me.
The home stretch last
I remember
season.
they played tough. I didn't think they were that good.
But
they look good to me.
What do you mean surprised? They're predicted by everyone to win their division.
They were surprisingly good to me.
So
surprisingly better than I thought, yeah.
But last year they had a top 5 offense. Their defense, I believe, was in the bottom 5. So the key is get that defense looking like it did last night. But then again, you could say, well, there should have been more points by Kansas City. But hey, game 1 is done.